enterprise revenues, they have to prove to their stakeholders that investment they're making in technology is worthwhile. And that's where sometimes, more often, very often, it falls apart. So how do you keep going? I mean, in practical terms, starting with small project,
Start
increasing the
small.
scope. Yep.
Start small. Start with a problem that is relatively well known, so that you have a reference point and you can find out new insights. Then try to go after something really big. We talk about a few best practices in the book, going over from a governance perspective, from a strategy perspective, from a data perspective, on various things we can and should be and should not be doing. But the key thing over here is balance the ability and the power of rapid experimentation with, also from an enterprise business perspective, the desire to put models and scorers and inferencers into production, making it scale, and doing that on a repeatable basis.
Another excellent point. Yeah. And what I know, your enterprises, they do not live in a vacuum. They're part of their own ecosystem. So, and it's quite complex. It's quite complex. Think about regular enterprise technology stack, right? Think about legacy applications, think about new editions, think about
Yep.
mission critical applications, right? So this is a complex universe slash metaverse. It's gonna be soon. So what's the practical again advice? How do you start
So on
adding
the
new
metaverse,
capabilities? Yep.
I would say on the metaverse, my world is the world I see with any of these technologies, as we have also seen with others, is it's not going to be one or the other. It's not going to be the metaverse that's going to be the be all and end all. It's going to be a combination of the metaverse plus the ability for personalization, which incidentally is something that the metaverse is going to benefit from, where AI and ML are going to play a huge role, where data is going to play a huge role, with the ability to deliver high speed internet connectivity. The so I think it's a combination of infrastructure, hardware, software experiences. So the metaverse, as it happens to your earlier question, is really going to be a combination of various successful technologies that come together, or a combination of some successful and unsuccessful technologies that create new successes, right? I hesitate to say, Irene, that the metaverse itself is going to be the one single thing that's going to be completely changing everything. Um, Nor do I agree that it's particularly a healthy thing to be thinking of. Having the metaverse supplement the physical universe is going to be more important than me and you talking completely in the metaverse. I enjoy this conversation. I don't know if I would enjoy my cartoon talking to your cartoon as much. Um, I don't know. Not in this
That's
context.
that's something to think about exactly because we want that expansion. We kind of want these new capabilities, right? And new version ourselves, right? In certain cases. But you're absolutely right. This will not replace physical or rather digital.
It should not. It
Yeah,
should not, in my
it
humble
should not.
opinion. But here, on the other hand, here's a fascinating example of the metaverse I can think of, just to leave on this note. Is I was talking to my son about dinosaurs last night. We were talking about velociraptors and allosaurus, like all 4-year-old boys, and their equally boring dads do. I would have loved to be in a metaverse of the Jurassic Park with him, actually walking around and looking at these dinosaurs that look at you. They can't see you, but you can see them. They don't bite, and you get to check them out. You can get tactile feeling, haptic feeling, all of those things. Just think of an amazing tool that could be, even from a childhood education perspective, or think of all the things you could do with that from a medical education perspective, right? Being able to teach somebody how to work on brain surgery, for example, in the metaverse, combining AR, VR, AI. It's just fantastic. But on the other hand, the current idea that some people have, that somehow that's going to replace the human existence, is something that, not only would I say that I just don't think it's realistic, I just don't think that's something that necessarily all of us are looking forward to, in terms of that better human experience that we want technology to enable.
I'm with you. I was thinking of kids and adults. I just attended Van Gogh immersive experience in New York City. Okay, that's a new way to consume art. For children, there are lots of people like all ages, and we all come with different understanding, so that's fantastic. That's really, technology is really amazing out there.
Oh yeah.
No questions, you see. So there's so many beautiful things, but you're right, we still want to see sun. We still want to breathe fresh air. So our physical existence will only augment that, to your point, right, with new technologies. Prashant, thank you so very much, leaving our audience with few takeaways, maybe, to summarize our talk, few points that are critical, for audiences to remember.
Oh, I would say the key thing is think of the new world of symbiotic enterprises and symbiotic intelligence and decision making. It's not going to be humans at the expense of machines or machines at the expense of humans. The new world is going to be shared human and machine intelligence and decision making. AI has to also go from beyond the data and machine learning driven effort where significant successes have been achieved and a lot of progress has been made to also understanding causality. The new digital divide is going to differentiate between organizations that are digital first and data first and organizations that are going to be going through the process of digital transformation. The haves and the have nots will be the ones who know how to use their data through AI, and the ones who either don't know how to use AI or don't have the data. The impact framework is a practical, non proprietary framework in chapter 1 of Demystifying AI, which talks about the things that you should think about, not just from a strategic, tactical, process and product perspective, but also more importantly from a people and culture perspective. Finally, listen to this podcast and listen more to my friend Irene, because that is one of the ways by which you can learn from others and we can learn from each other in order to lift that tide that raises all ships.
Beautifully said, Prashant. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.